And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have independent actress Rossie McCree with me. Say hello to everybody, Rossie.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. It's been a new year, though, hasn't
Yes, it
it?
has. Yes, it has.
Definitely. So tonight we're actually going to be reviewing an indie movie. As a matter of fact, the publicist or director reached out to me to review this film. And this film is called Distances. And basically, what Distance is about, it's actually about a man starts talking to himself in a busy subway car. Maria decides to answer back and bridge the distance. And to me, that is just a very good way of actually explaining the storyline to make you more intrigued into what this film's about.
Right.
And I like the fact it's a one room scenario because I'm a fan of one room scenario films.
Yes.
And you don't know what to expect. You see a subway car filled with people,
Right.
and it just looks like a normal everyday busy day in this
Right.
city.
Right.
And then you see this girl, she's listening to her beat on her Beats headphones, music and stuff like that. Then you also see this other guy that's sitting next
Right.
to her, and then all of a sudden in walks this other guy. Hair's
Right.
all messed up. He looks like a
Totally.
hobo
Yeah.
pretty much, like
Disheveled. Absolutely.
just shoveled, not put
Right.
together at all or anything like
Right.
that. And so, anyways, he winds up sitting across from Maria,
Right.
next to the girl with the Beats headphones, and he starts just talking to himself, just pretty much like "f the world," stuff like
Right.
that, just being frustrated with everything in life,
Right.
and you don't know what he's capable of. This is a guy
Right.
who's a complete stranger, and we're also a complete stranger to these people though too, because we're on the
Absolutely.
outside looking
Right.
in a sense. But what did you think?
Well, like you said, the beginning was normal. I mean, it's a big, busy subway. People are, coming to or going to, work or wherever they have to go to. You see, like you said, the girl with the Beats headphones on, just normal, just normal. What got me was I was focusing on the two guys that
Mm-hmm.
the camera focused on in the beginning. So I'm thinking, probably like other people that watched it, what are they up to? Because you see them looking at, there's a lady that's an older lady that's sitting by herself and she's just kind of, just looking around, not really wanting to be bothered. And so you're thinking at first that they're talking about her or they're going to do something. Then comes in this gentleman that's disheveled. And once he comes in, I'm thinking he's going to, take the train hostage or something's not right because he's sitting there cursing. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, something's about to go down and he's, F the world, they're coming after me. And you started to notice the faces of the people on the train. No one's really paying attention until he starts to curse and, get loud. And I love the reaction. Like you said, the film's called Distance for a reason. Distances, because you notice people looking around as we would normally do, look around, don't want to be around him, but then you see Maria, who's going to come into the film.
Exactly. And A Town Reviews, Alex, he can't be on the show with us because he's feeling sick, unfortunately, but he is gracious enough to embrace us with his presence by commenting inside the comments section. So we do appreciate that, Alex. So the two
Hi,
dudes
Alex.
in the beginning look so shady at first. Great point,
Yes,
Rossi.
yes,
And I'm gonna be honest with you. Whenever the camera pan angles to the two guys, I would have that
right.
same moment though too.
Okay,
What is this film actually about? What makes me want to care about these two guys? But then it's a
right.
busy subway car, so it actually puts me in the spot of them being in
Yes,
the. So I'm standing there with them as this is going down.
right.
So then it goes over to the woman, and she looks judgmental towards them. She doesn't want to be bothered.
Absolutely.
She's kind of
Yes,
like the conservative
absolutely.
person,
You go. Right,
and so then you have this guy who's just rambling and everything, like we mentioned, and then it goes into the judgment because you can see the older woman judging him. And also
yes,
too, that's also a good point that you mentioned, distances. It's not just distance breaking the bridge between the distance of
right.
someone talking to somebody, it's them distancing themselves because somebody looks
Exactly.
different
Right.
and judging somebody. And how many of us do that? We did that in the first appearance of this guy. And
Ev- Absolutely. We every day we do that. So it's like
right.
this film, I believe it was made in Madrid, Spain.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's it's how the world is. It's how we all are. We all are judgmental. We look at people and we see something that's not right, especially when they start to vocalize something that's crazy. We distance ourselves. We want to get far away from them as we can. And going back to the conservative lady that's sitting on the subway, um, you notice that when you get to see what she's looking at, and the camera looks down at what he's wearing all the way up to him. She's
And that's what
judging
I
him.
like. That's what I
Yeah,
like about it.
because you feel like you're there. The way it's shot, you're there on the subway. So you get to be involved with everyone there, and you get to see why everyone is distancing themselves away from him. Um, what about the part where he puts his hand, he has something in his hand? Did you not think that was a grenade or something?
Okay, when he starts thumbing through, I'm like, oh my god, what is this guy
Yes.
gonna be doing? He's already yammering and stuff, and then all of a sudden he pulls
Right.
out his cell phone. I'm like, okay, this is not good. And then he's
Exactly.
talking like a stockbroker. I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
then I start doing this. I'm like, okay, so you used to be this popular guy probably in the stock market. You winded up going down on
Right.
your putting down on yourself and not carrying yourself the way that you used to because maybe you had some bad luck in the stock market, they got rid
Absolutely.
of
Yep.
you, and now you're looking for a way back in. And
Right.
when they're saying other people are looking for him, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if he got into some bad business deals with some other people
Right.
that might be
One
threatening
thing I
his life.
noticed, one thing I noticed about him though is when they show his clothes, although he's dirty and whatever, look at the type of clothes he has on. He
See,
has on, they show the his shirt, it looks like it's a nice button-down shirt that he had on. He had on some loafers, and it is exactly like you said. You start to wonder, who is this guy? What where let's see, what's gone wrong with him? And so when you think about the stock market, we know that when there's a major collapse, there are people that have a lot of money riding on it who kill themselves, who, you know what I mean? So with him, and he's talking on the phone, you figure, like you said, okay, something went wrong. You lost a lot of money. You lost someone's money. And, therefore someone's after you. He lost it. Like he just
right.
freaking lost it.
And now, this is what I want to do now. I want to focus on Maria because she's the
Okay.
only one who's sleeping. When all this is
Right.
going down, everybody is
Right.
distancing themselves off from
Right.
him, and she's the only one there. She wakes up
Right.
during the commotion of all this, and he's yelling on the phone, and she's just looking at him, but she's not judging him. She's
Not at all.
she genuine cares for him, and I like what
Yes.
Alex says real quick, and then I'll get into my other thought.
Okay.
I love how the camera kept close distance to Maria and the man. You can see
Yes.
the humanity slowly
Yes.
coming back into him since Maria is
Right.
actually treating him like a person.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because we saw
Yeah.
the two, like you mentioned, the camera angles.
Yes.
So, like, puts us into like a first person viewpoint where we're looking
Absolutely.
up and down, and then you
Right.
have the straight edge person that is just straight glancing at him,
Right.
and she's looking at him, like,
Yes.
and she's just trying to get into the whole situation of who is this
Right.
guy, what's going on with him, and she manages to calm him
Yes.
and everything
Absolutely.
too. And when Maria says, you know, I got mugged by this guy with a big knife.
Love that story.
We all have bad days,
Right.
but I gave the guy everything I had, all about $10. Yes, I had a mortgage on my house, but I figured it
Right.
was better to drink beer than not to have food at all.
Right. Absolutely. Because, she's well, first of all, let me just jump back
I'm
really
getting
quick.
goosebumps
I
just by
want to
talking about that. But
I want to make sure that everyone knows, like, okay, we're talking about the fact that this gentleman on the train that's going crazy, whatever, he's cursing. Well, in the beginning, you do mention the girl with the beats on. You
mhm,
can hear how loud the music is. She doesn't hear him at first until when he gets louder. She then looks around and takes her earphones off. That's to let you know how loud he was. How loud he was cursing. Why everyone was just kind of like, something's not right. But going back to Maria and that story, because she's the only one that goes and sits right next to him. She starts talking to him about I don't know why they sell cigarettes, you know, in the subway, you know, we can't even smoke, you know, she's just making conversation with him to try to get him to settle down because no one else is going to, because at this point we're all scared. We don't know what's wrong with him. And talking about her talking about the story about being mugged. I love when she says, you know, they told me to give me everything that I had. So if they want my mortgage, it's 1,500 a month. If I got a 15-year-old kid, like, you can have my problems, but I'm going to give you the $10 I have, and let's just have a beer, you know, because it's not worth my life. But I love the way that she's just human kindness, basically,
Right.
like Alex said, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
being kind to someone, and look where, you know, it got us. But we don't want to get there yet. We
No.
then have to figure out his name.
Right. And another
Yes.
thing too is this movie's only 13 minutes long, by the way,
Right.
and there's so much detail in a 13-minute film that we never thought was possible. This would take
Absolutely.
a 30 minutes, a 2.5 hour movie would take 30 minutes to do this.
Right.
But you have 13 minutes to make a short film, and my God, it's great. But
Yes.
like you mentioned, the clothes. Then you
Yes.
see the sleeve with his
Yes.
initials on it. And
Right.
she goes, so what's your name? Hector? And
Right.
then she goes to a bunch of other names that starts with H. And then there's one girl comes in the middle of the crowd, and she
Right.
says, "What about Hugo?" And so
Right.
Maria looks at him and goes, "Hugo?" And he's talking on the phone now, and
Yes.
he's talking on the phone. And this is where it gets emotional for me, where I actually had tears coming out of my eyes.
Right. Right.
She, he winds up turning to her like,
Right.
wait, you really care about me as a person? You're not
Right.
judging me for based on my outside appearance?
Right.
And he's like, forget about the Wall Street guys for a minute. He winds up just putting his phone down,
Yes.
and he just looks at her and goes, is it Hugo? And yes, that's his name. His name is
Yes.
Hugo.
Right.
And oh my God, like when I was watching it at work for the 30 minutes that I had, I didn't
Yeah.
understand why I was getting emotional or anything like that. Just the music alone was making me emotional. So I
Right.
got a chance to watch it in its entirety without
Yeah.
having to focus on, oh my God, am I going to be running late for getting off of work? You know what I'm saying? To clock back in
Yeah.
for my lunch break. But now that I had a chance, I'm like, oh my God, this has the mannerisms, the facial
Yes.
structures, everything with him makes us care about Hugo even more.
Right. I did the same thing when it got to the part, first of all, as she's talking to him. And remember, as she's talking to him, he's cursing her out too. You know, he's calling her names too. But I like her response to it. She's like, oh, my mom calls me slut or whatever because I show too
Mm-hmm.
much cleavage. Like, basically, you know, I've heard those names before. Not going to bother me. And she continues to talk to him. And another thing I want to say is when they do figure out his name, you start noticing the more Maria talks to him, the people that were distancing themselves from him, they all start coming in a little bit closer. Like,
Mm-hmm. Like
okay,
zeroing in
it's
on him.
right, like it's safe, you know. Um, and like you said, the part where she realizes that his name is Hugo, I was just like crying because I felt like there are good people out there in the world. You know what I mean? There are people that care in the world, you know. Our basic instincts, which is to, you know, protect ourselves from someone that, just if you just had a little conversation with them, you'd be amazed, you know. And also with Hugo, like you said, his name's his cufflinks, right? You see his name on the on his cufflinks, you know. Everybody comes from somewhere, you know. I mean,
Right.
everybody had something once in their life, you know. You don't just end up, you know, in his situation.
No.
And I just love Maria. Maria
Me
was
too.
great. I wanted to know more about Maria's life as well, because her life seemed pretty interesting too.
Same here. I want to learn about both of them, to be honest.
Right,
There's two
absolutely.
Now, there's two things I want to mention. Number one, about Maria, when she says that she was called a whore and because of
Right,
her cleavage. It's like,
right.
who am I to judge you? Because I was once judged myself. So I
Exactly.
so I know what it feels like to be different. So because
Right,
I was judged, it doesn't give me the right to judge you. So I'm gonna go on
right,
ahead and judge you based off of your character
right,
whenever I have this conversation with you, if you allow me to have this conversation with you and allow me to
right,
sit down next to you.
Right.
And then another thing too is with Hugo and everything, it brought him down a notch, an octave,
It did.
and
It
everything.
did.
And then Maria's telling him, now this is my favorite line though. She tells him, she says, "You really let yourself go, Hugo." Like
Right.
in a very caring way,
Absolutely.
to where it ended up like you can tell that he let himself go, and this is not the path that he wants to be on. Just that spark in
Absolutely.
his eye.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once that happens, the doors open and he leaves. But for an
Yeah.
instant, you can see that she got into his heart. And that might
Absolutely.
actually make him change something about himself
Right.
to want to carry himself. Maybe people on the Wall Street might actually give him a second chance
Right.
and everything if he was put back together again. I think she was that piece that put him back together again.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think she was definitely that piece. Like when he walks out of the train, like you said, you'd want to know more about his life, but you're hoping that with the way that she handled him, that he will pull himself up by the bootstraps again and go back out in life and try it again, because you
Definitely.
find out by the end of this that he's not trying to hurt anyone. He's not anything like that. He just has his own issues, and a way that she deals with that is just it's just great. Maria was a great part of this story. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah, and also, like I said, by the time he leaves this subway, everyone who distanced themselves are all right there with him, just and another thing that I thought was really interesting was the two guys that we saw in the beginning where the camera's just focused on them. You have these two men that you wouldn't expect for them to be afraid.
Right. Because they're
I
big
also just
dudes, they're
that just
big jocks.
yeah, exactly. It just stuck out to me that it took someone like Maria and they were like afraid. They were like going to the back of the train to get away from this guy. And this woman, Maria, wakes up and just goes over there and just starts talking to him. I thought that's pretty interesting.
I agree. It takes a strong person, it takes a caring person to take a 5 minutes out of your day
Right.
to be able to just do something nice for somebody. And that's what
Right.
Maria
Change
did.
someone's life. Absolutely.
And me talking about stuff that Maria did just warms my soul. And also,
Yeah.
too, it gave me goosebumps talking about some of the scenes that we talked about. And
Right.
this movie, I have to say, is a really great film.
Yes, it is.
And I was touched, I was moved by it. Fantastic job to the director, actors,
Yes.
cinematographer.
Yes.
One room scenarios is my favorite thing because you can do a lot with one room scenarios, like we said, even in a small
Right.
compartment of a bus or a train, you can do a lot with.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, Brandon.
And you got the beginning, you got the end. It was all wrapped up, done, and it was
Right,
good in 13 minutes and 42 seconds.
right.
Yes.
And it just goes to show you don't need a 2.5 hour movie sometimes to tell a simple story.
Right.
You can tell
And this
us
story was
right.
absolutely human kindness. No matter where
Yes.
you are, you've been there, you've sat there, you've seen people like that, and maybe it changed you. Maybe it'll make you reach out to someone while you're sitting on the bus or train and changing their life for that few minutes that you have. You never know.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You never know what kind of life that you can change somebody. You know what I mean? You can impact
Yes.
somebody's life and you won't even know it.
Right. Just by saying hello and acknowledging someone.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think that was everything I wanted to cover as far as this review goes. This to
Right.
me, we did this in 19 minutes, so we went a little bit longer than what the movie did, but still, we got under the context of everything that we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Hey Jojo, how are you? But yeah,
Hey, Joey.
but yeah, I feel like we got into the meat and potatoes of this movie. And I'm looking, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be having Beth from Made for Movie TV podcast, and we're doing another short film review. It's a 40-minute movie.
Nice.
And
Nice.
and here's the thing when it comes down to certain subject matters, I like to have women in certain things, like with this
Absolutely.
movie, and also to have a
Right.
male presence too, two other male
Right.
presence. But when it comes down to female subject matters, I want to have a woman present so that way I can have a woman's perspective of certain things. Because us
Absolutely.
men, we have our own one sidedness to us and stuff like that.
Don't you know?
And yes, like I did one on cervical cancer. I did a movie about
Okay.
cervical cancer, made for
Yeah.
the movie TV podcast. Now we're doing something that is about breastfeeding with a
Good.
40-minute thing. So I'm doing little small things to get women out there and to show my love and appreciation to women and also to respect for women on what they do. And like I said, I don't want whenever I have women on here and it's a woman's subject matter, I don't want my words to be miscombobulated to the point where
Absolutely.
you're not getting my words, where I'm not getting my words out right.
Right.
So I'd rather have someone that they can relate to than someone that they can't relate to. If that
Right.
makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And
Right.
thanks for inviting me
Oh, you're
to
welcome.
watch this film, review this film. This was great. Like I said, I just teared up and cried just because
Me
of
too.
human kindness, just human kindness.
Exactly. So, Rossie, where can everybody reach you at if they want to
Okay,
follow you?
you can reach me on my Instagram at MCcree123 hotmail.com. That's MCCREE hotmail.com. Also, you can reach me on Twitter at Rossie Bark One, Rossie Lynn Bark One, and on Facebook at Rossie Lynn.
Okay. And everybody, you guys can go on ahead and reach me at Movie Lovers TV Loves Unite underneath the same brand name on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram as well. Go on ahead, follow A Town Reviews as well. Alex does a fantastic job reviewing films and stuff like that. I just want to give him a little bit of a shout out. He will be back sometime soon on a movie news show segment, but show him some love over there. But if you guys want to, go ahead, like I said, follow me underneath those social medias, and of course, I also teamed up with Two Blur Girls podcast again, and we're doing another Cincy, basically another Cincy charity event with Children's of St. Jude's Hospital.
Nice.
And that's right. You get yourself a Cincy, all
Nice.
proceeds go over to the Children's of St. Jude's Hospital. Then, of course, if you want to donate to my page, you guys don't have to, but if you want to show me some love and everything too, just to keep the lights here on at Movie Lovers Unite, just go ahead, donate at gofundme.com/movie lovers podcast. Donate $5 over there. But smashing that like button, smashing that share button, and also that subscribe button and that bell on the bottom right hand corner to allow you guys to know when we have something new going on here on our YouTube channel goes a long way here at Movie Lovers Unite. So go ahead and do that. Another thing too is go on ahead and follow me under TikTok at Movie Lovers Unit 0. Then, of course, on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit over there. If you're a sponsor or would like to be on the show, just go on ahead, reach out to me at movieloversunite@gmail.com. Of course, go on ahead and I'm going to be having matter of fact, I'm going to be relaunching my .com soon. So I'll be doing movie reviews, blogging, stuff like that, like I used to do with movie news and stuff like that later on. But it's going to just be called movieloversunite.com. It's still in development, but stay tuned for that. And of course, we're going to try and get some more merch down too. So that's going to be it for tonight's show. Thanks again, Rossie. I do appreciate you.
You're welcome. One more thing I want to mention to everyone. Please join us in 2 weeks as we're going to go back to finish our review of Sweet Tooth, and we are on episode 4, right, John?
Yeah, we're on episode 4 of Sweet Tooth,
Okay.
and I
Right.
can't wait to dive back into the universe of Sweet Tooth.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
before I actually finish this up, I do have another announcement. Tomorrow night, I'm going to try and do a laid back show where it's going to be let's talk about it. That's going to be the name of the segment. Let's talk about it. If there's Batman news, let's talk about it. If it's movie news, let's talk about some of the big things that happened during the week. Or if it's just certain subject matters that you feel like that's important, let's talk about it. So it's a little talk on Movie Lovers Unite tomorrow. So go on ahead, smash that subscribe button and all that other good stuff. Always until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. Can't wait to do this again. And
Bye, guys.
bye-bye.